I'm thankful that discrimination is illegal in our country. Is our financial system perfect? No. Is it far superior and far more inclusive in comparison to the rest of the world? Absolutely. While I could point to the loss of banks and minority communities post Dodd-Frank, or highlight the frivolous regulatory red tape that negatively impacts economic growth in these communities, I would like to start off with the most glaring, obvious fact. Our markets can't flourish and best serve consumers when they are saddled with regulatory uncertainty. Government agencies shouldn't expand their own authorities in ways that subvert the stated purpose, avoid congressional review, and break the law. It's harmful, it's illegal, and it's unconstitutional. Case in point, the CFPB's lawless steps to address gaps and unfairness, quote unquote, in the financial services industry. The CFPB's use of the Unfair and Deceptive Acts or Practices Authority contradicts the Dodd-Frank Act's treatment of unfairness and discrimination, which under the law are two separate and distinct concepts. The heavy hand of government is weighing down American consumers through infinite rulemaking and guidance. This way of governing isn't in good faith, and it isn't sustainable. It isn't a sustainable way of conducting business for the people. Discrimination and racism should absolutely be taken seriously, and that's why there are laws in place, such as the Equal Credit Opportunity Act and the Civil Rights Act. Disparate impact can't be used as a justification for government overreach. I think everyone in this room today would agree that there is progress to be made in growing economic opportunity for all Americans. But that's impossible with a financial activist mindset infused with bad policy prescriptions that don't solve the problem. I've worked in financial institutions, and there are two colors financial institutions are concerned with: green and red. There are two categories considered: credit worthy or risk prone. And I would add, my start in financial services was at a credit office as a credit officer. I underwrote loans, so I know this firsthand. There's no subliminal mission to deny access to products based off race, sexuality, religion, or any other identification of the sort. Banks prioritize handling business, and if any individual meets necessary standards to conduct business with them, that's what banks will do. Taking credit risks into account is responsible banking. It isn't racism or discrimination. We should prioritize ways to help struggling individuals prosper. How can we help create better outcomes for consumers? Well, it's about four basic ways. One, collaboration between government and private sector is key to address nuanced issues. Number two, relax de novo banking requirements. Since Dodd-Frank, almost half of the community banks in the United States have failed, and that has had a critical impact on minorities. Long story short, if there aren't banks in the area, how are the businesses in that area be able to get to the consumers? Number three, actions taken by agencies should be based on unbiased data, not anecdotal evidence or assumptions. Agencies should also assess actions taken by industry leaders to ensure there isn't duplication between regulators' actions and what banks are already doing to address the needs of underserved communities. Number four, financial literacy should be prioritized. Discrimination and disparate impacts aren't the same, and we've got to understand that equal opportunity doesn't necessarily mean equal outcomes. If individuals lack creditworthiness that impacts other outcomes relating to financial services, we should be looking at ways to address that, like alternative data, in order to shore up their creditworthiness. The reality is, not every American will reach a place of financial wealth, but most Americans can reach a place of financial health. In closing, racial discrimination in financial services is illegal. It was before this hearing. It will be after this hearing. Expanding the government is not needed or justified.